Magicgatheringstrat. All you Stratters out in the Stratmosphere. I'm Brennan, your lovable host. Along with me, as always, are my two co-hosts for the evening. Sam, the Vault Boy Hunter. Say hello, Sam.
Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to be back.
Yeah, we're happy to have you back. And Dan, the Fan of History.
Hey!
Hey, back at ya. Well, what do we have? Ta-da, episode 56. So stop me if you've heard this one.
Oh.
See what I did?
Clever, Brennan.
With the words. Yeah. Now that I've made everybody groan. Alright. Talk about standard Pauper for just a little bit. Then we're going to finish up the set review with green and colorless. Talk about the ye old Gauntlet. So, what do we have in standard Pauper? What we can talk about, kind of go over it real quick, is worlds. Dun 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 dun. SPDC and MPDC both had worlds. Oh, where's my mouse? Mouse is going away.
So it's like boxing. There are two different world titles in standard Pauper.
Yes, there's the welterweight and the world heavyweight.
They're like different organizations, right?
Oh, yeah.
So both are saying that their winner is the best player in the world.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. So what do we have on SPDC this past April 10th? 9 players, 9 reported. Hosted by Dr. Chris. Top 4 is Teamer Grind by Dr. Chris. That's the one. He's posted some videos out there if you guys want to go check out his YouTube. Esper Tokens by our own buddy from Brazil, Roberto Remedio. Then we have America, so, Just Guy, Mr. Zwick, and Mono Red Blitz by Yellow Eyes 2. Oh my gosh, I gotta look at this real quick. Look at that. Gearpore.
Brain Breach Brawler.
But I've never even heard of this thing.
It's a good 2-drop. I mean, it slots right in there.
It does.
It's kind of like Mardu Scouts 5 through 8. But not quite as good.
It looks terrible.
What, the 2-3?
Yeah, it's like 2-3 and you have to pay it again.
Yeah.
I mean, you drop a bonded construct on the first turn into that on the second turn. That's not a horrible second turn play.
Just like Vintage.
It's exactly like Vintage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is just like sneaking in a Phyrexian Dreadnought. I mean, 6 of one, half a dozen of another.
Oh, that's vintage.
All right, Arc Lightning, Dragon Fodder, Impact Tremors I'm a fan of. Tormenting Voice. I like that new art on Tormenting Voice.
I love it. I love the fact that PDC Magic has shadows already while Gathering doesn't. It's
amazing.
They still have just Dragon. Sure.
I want to say thank you to the persons in charge of PDC Magic for jumping on that. Very cool. Alright. Fiery Conclusion. Boiling Earth. Very cool. Just know that next week, I think they will probably have off because that's the first time it's available on MTGO.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Gwynedd and Chris to see if they're going to take a week off or not.
Okay.
Because they didn't last rotation.
I thought Gwynedd did, but Dr. Chris didn't.
I think they decided neither of them would because they didn't want the gap and the numbers to not line up.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, let's take a look at... Uh-oh.
Let me interject with that I am taking a pause in my standard Pauper videos while this happens. So, Sam, I hope to record with you after we see the first results of Shadows over Innistrad's standard Pauper.
Absolutely. We'll definitely get back into the swing. I like to buy my commons the second weekend they're available.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just the smarter thing to do.
Oh, that first weekend, you're paying like a quarter per. The next weekend, you're getting like 10 for a quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember buying some very expensive gray merchants.
Yes.
The lands from the tap duels from Fate Reforged and Cons. I was in a hurry. I bought them all the first weekend, and I regretted it because they were 10 cents a piece instead of being a penny.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did I do that for? I'm trying to remember. I think it probably was the same thing. The new duels.
Because they were so good.
Yeah, give you life.
We're going to miss them so much.
Yeah, and remember, folks, Wizards doesn't care about printing common fixing. Unless we go back to Alara, then I'm sure they will. Which, with the current rate of return, I am certain that we will see more Alara soon.
Well, soon we will see the great tour block that will include all locations.
The tour, the grand tour, yeah.
The background story is that Jace goes on a tour.
It's a goodwill tour.
Yeah. Promoting the Oath of the Gatewatch.
Yeah, everybody. Gather around, all you planeswalkers. Let's make an oath. We can be we can be super friends. Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice. All right. Well, there you go. Worlds. I know I spent too much time on it, but I forgot to tell Gwynedd to release the results. My bad. Emerald 0001, followed by Jack Frost, Rufa, and Zombie Neko with his Harness deck.
3 names that I'm not familiar with. The first 3 on the list.
I know Zombie, but the other one's
Neko is the only one I know.
I remember Jack Frost from earlier Iset results.
Ah, okay. He did UR copy paste, which is honest. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. Let us look at the wonderful world of green commons.
Here, before we do this, can I give the couple shout-outs that I want to give, or do you want to do that after?
I have a spot after we can.
Okay, awesome.
We can talk about stuff because I know I have talking about. You're talking about Gwynedd's idea.
Gwynedd's idea, and then Eddie.
Okay. Oh yes, I have a spot for that after this.
Awesome.
So
okay.
We'll do that. All right. Well, I guess let's go ahead and get started. Green commons. You want to follow along with us? We are magiccards.info. And the first one is Aim High. 1 and a green, instant. Untap target creature. It gets +2/+2 and gains reach until end of turn. I see this as just a single green. I don't know why they made it 1 and a green.
I mean, the untap.
I guess, yeah, untap. That's true. I didn't think about that. But
still, it seems... Maybe there are some broken combos you can do if it's 1 mana.
I can't think of any, but that's... Maybe. It's not entirely impossible.
I did get gotten by it on the beta client, so
yeah,
it's not super in one of the the 2-man silds. So I mean, it's not horrible. It's easy to leave up. I mean, green is pretty heavily creatures, so
oh yeah.
So I mean, it's not horrible. Is it going to see any play in standard Pauper? No. Is it going to see any play in classic Pauper? That's laughable.
Clicked on the wrong thing. Okay. Yeah, I standard Pauper probably. but then it will go the way of the dodo. Alright, let's take a look at the next one. Byway Courier. 2 and a green. Human Scout. 3/2. Byway Courier. When Byway Courier dies, investigate. You get to put one of those clue tokens out there. Now, I didn't look. I don't think it is, but there's a mole creature that gives you life for sacking.
Yeah, that's an uncommon. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know how good this investigate thing is going to be.
As I'm preparing a common, I don't think it's going to really be anything, but because the payoff cards are uncommon, they're almost universally uncommon. But like for standard Silverblack, almost all of the investigate payoffs are at uncommon, so that's going to make that a very investigative format, I feel, after rotation happens. So,
right. Okay.
I mean, it's a 3/2 for 3, which makes it is becoming a super bear.
Super bear. Okay.
Green's getting a whole bunch of these, and then it has a payoff of basically replacing itself for 2 mana if it dies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, green could do worse. So.
Okay. Alrighty. Let's see here. Let's look at the next one. Clip Wings. 1 and a green instant. Each opponent sacrifices a creature with flying. You don't often get sacrifice effects in green. This is weird.
It's very flavorful for the block.
True.
Yeah, it's a common answer to Angels. So,
I think they need to vary Plummet somewhat, so...
yeah, otherwise they're...
Printing Plummet.
They're going to reprint it every set. Okay.
So, I mean, it gets around hexproof flyers. Are there any hexproof flyers?
Oh, jeez.
No.
I have to search. I can't think of any.
None. I mean, and even in Boggles...
Used to be. Mm-hmm.
I mean, Boggles plays the Ledgewalker because it's harder to interact with just to avoid these type of effects, so...
Right.
I don't know. I mean...
I'll have to see. Honestly, I have to see how prevalent flyers are in Standard Pauper, and there's not many Voltron flyers in regular Pauper. I don't know if this would be worth it.
Yeah, because, I mean, the 2 white common flyers that have heroic, I don't think they see any play even in heroic decks.
I haven't seen it in regular Pauper.
Across Skyguard.
Yeah.
Yeah, Skyguard and the other one, the white.
The Pegasus one?
Oh, yeah, that guy. I mean, I don't think they see any play. If they did, I guess getting your opponent's big thing they invested a lot of spells into isn't bad, but...
The Voltron.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, interesting, but limited use. I mean, I don't mean that just for limited, but actually really limited use.
The art's awesome, though.
The art's pretty cool, yeah. I feel it's kind of like a little bit of wasted art. I mean, not that the art is wasted, but people will forget about this card.
Moving on.
Confront the Unknown. 1 green. Instant. Investigate. Then target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each clue. Oh, there's one payoff.
There's the payoff at common.
The payoff.
And boy howdy, it's great. It's always going to be +1/+1.
It will be. You have to go deep for this to be
It's like Might of the Masses. You're like, haha, now I get +8/+8.
Right, Might of the Clues.
Except for it's not as... I mean, obviously it's not as good. Because you're going to always almost have a lot more creatures than you have Clue.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
Except in the Clue deck.
Maybe it's there.
#Clue deck.
Build it, Sam.
there's not enough clues at common to build it, and they're across 3 colors basically.
Right.
And
there's no common fixing.
Yeah, so it's just not. I don't think it's going to be a thing. Hopefully, clue will be the one thing they carry over to Eldritch Moon, because I think they could do a lot more with it.
Right.
But who knows? All the clues will be answered. All the investigations will be done.
Maybe. All right, here it is. Equestrian skills. 3 in a green for enchantment aura. Enchant creature. Enchant creature gets horsemanship. No wait. That didn't happen.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3. If it's a human, it has trample. You know what's funny is I get it. They're saying, oh, you learn to ride a horse. But if you're just enchanting a human, that human has no horse. So I just see this human galloping, going, whee! I have trample.
Yeah,
anyway.
Cards like this are not playable in Standard Pauper.
It's so much money. I mean, so much mana.
Not only that, but it's the classic, oh, I just 2-for-1 to myself.
Right, and I have no mana.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. All right, here we go. Fork in the road. 1 in a green. Sorcery. Search your library for 2 basic lands. Reveal them. Put 1 in your hand, 1 in your graveyard. Then shuffle your library. That's weird,
Delirium.
Right? Delirium.
But getting lands in the graveyard is not the problem, right?
Yeah. The lands count towards Delirium.
They do.
Yeah. I'm thinking about this for maybe the maybe like a Tortured Existence deck in Classic Pauper with like Tilling Treefolk and stuff like that.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But you have much better options than this.
It's basic land though. I mean, this is fixing for
Yes, it is fixing.
Pauper. And it does have the upside of fueling Delirium in one of the colors that gets a better effect from Delirium. So, I mean, I like it, but who knows? I mean, it really depends on how people try to force Delirium.
Right. And if fixing is that terrible, does it end up working?
It's that terrible.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah, Rampant Growth didn't see much play, and this is much, much worse.
Oh, yeah. Whoa. All right. Hinterland Logger. Hinterland Logger, 1 in the green for a 2/1. It's a werewolf, human. Same. It's the usual werewolf clause. Get it? Clause. If no spells are cast, transform it. It transforms into a 4/2 Timber Shredder. So, is a piker that can turn into a 4/2 worth it for 2 mana?
I mean, taking a turn off to get there, or no, I can't. I mean, none of the werewolves are playable in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think this is borderline playable in a mono-green deck. Or if there is such a thing as a red-green werewolf deck in Standard Pauper. This is an early beater that can become bigger, and I think that pushes it into playable territory.
Okay. But it can also be blocked by, like, everything.
Yeah, but green has the tools to deal with that.
That's true. It can it's got some trample things.
Yeah, fight stuff.
It can also fight. Oh, I love that new card. We'll get to it eventually. The Rabid Bite. That's good. All right. Next one is Intrepid Provisioner. 3 in a green. Human Scout. It has trample. It's a 3/3. When Intrepid Provisioner enters the battlefield, another target human, green human tribal, interesting, gets +2/+2 until end of turn. You can make your humans happen. It's not a
Did
bad
anyone
effect.
play Give Us Force Mage in Standard Pauper?
Long time ago.
That it just gave a 1/1 for the turn.
No, Eva's Force Mage was 3 mana for a 2/2 that gave another creature +2/+2.
I mean, the Soulbond one saw play.
That was much better.
Yeah, the Soulbond one was permanent.
I think this is crap.
Yeah.
I think
there's
reason.
a lot of other human stuff that you want to do.
I can't understand why this card couldn't cost 3. I think
that would be amazing.
Playable.
Yeah, that'd be really, really good.
But,
yep. It's not going to see play for 4 mana. All
Speaking
right.
of cards that aren't going to see play.
Yeah, speaking of which, Kessig Direswine, 4 green, so 6 mana. Boar Horror. Say that 3 times fast. Boar Horror.
Don't do it.
Delirium. When Kessig Direswine has trample as long as you have Delirium. So for 4 green, you couldn't give a trampling 6/6. Where's my fox? My giant Vulpine Goliath.
Yeah, what's the standard for green 6-drops in standard Pauper right now?
Ooh.
There are none.
That's getting play.
Not since Nessie and Asp left.
God, Nessie and Asp was such a good card. It did everything you wanted. Came down on turn 5, blocked big flyers, and then in the late game you can monstrous it.
Yep.
For the days.
I think this will see fringe play then if it is the premier 6-drop in green.
I mean, you have to remember we still have Elkherd.
Oh, Elkherd was in Dragons?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
His
Okay.
Ferocious was in Dragon, so...
Nothing to see here then.
Yeah.
Elkherd is so much better. So.
Elkherd's awesome. All right. Let's try this weird looking card. Loam Dryad. A single green for a Dryad Horror for a 1/2. What does it do? Tap and untap. Tap it and tap an untapped creature you control. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool.
I'm so happy they didn't make this an elf somehow.
This is
elves even more mana.
Right, but seriously, that's a lot of effort to get a mana.
Yeah, but
it's a Springleaf Druid.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a 1 casting cost.
I guess so.
Mana dork. It's not gonna just be tap for green anymore.
Those SOBs.
Yeah.
In development. Well, if you need some mana, here's your mana dork.
It is fixing too.
It is a 1/2. Oh, and the creature can have just come into play because it's you tap the other creature. It doesn't give the other creature tap and do this. So interesting.
I think it will see play.
Yeah, because this is what we get.
Premium.
Right. This is what we get for 1-drop mana fixing. All right. Might Beyond Reason. 3 and a green. Instant. Put 2 1/1 counters on target creature. Whew, for 4 mana. Delirium. Put 3. You know what I miss? Hunger the Howl Pack.
Yes.
Wow, 4 mana for this effect. Holy crap.
The thing about it is, though, at 4 mana, you're more likely to hold this into the mid game where you could have Delirium set up. But, boy, it's not worth 4 mana. Because that's like a good creature
Yeah.
you could just play instead of this. I mean, 1 more mana gets you an Elkherd.
And also, it's not divided as you choose. It's target creature.
If it was divided, I would like it a little bit.
But this is a lot of effort.
This color seems to be pretty bad.
Yeah, so far I'm not seeing anything that makes me go, oh, green's awesome. Now, one thing I do like is this card. Moldgraph Scavenger. 1 and a green, fungus. It's an 0/4. Why do I like an 0/4? Because if you have Delirium, Moldgraph Scavenger gets +3/+0. So
nice.
it's a 3/4 for 2 mana. And in a world where there's no more Hootie and the Mandrills and zombie fish, it's not bad. Not bad at all.
Definitely not bad. You are signing up for a defensive game plan, but this guy helps you out with that.
Heck yeah. And then it really helps you out later game. Yeah, I ordered this bad boy in some foil because I think people will be putting it in cubes and stuff.
I think it's one of the cards that's getting rumbling for Pauper play as being a analog to Tarmogoyf.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we already have Krakenora. I mean, come on, guys. We have Tarmogoyf. But,
yeah, I don't see a standard classic Pauper deck that would need this.
Yeah, you're gonna put Hooting Mandrills in instead.
Yeah,
but I could see it seeing play in standard Pauper.
It definitely will.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. This will be probably the new premier green card, especially from this set, unless we come up against something better. But
looks sweet.
Pretty good. All right, what's next?
And it also looks like a fact that will slow down the format.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, that's a pretty good 2-drop against Prowess.
Oh yeah. 4.
Oh, except that the Prowess creatures just get to 4 and crush it.
When they do, yeah.
Lots of dead fungus out there, folks.
Quilled Wolf. 1 and a green for a 2/2 wolf. However, for 5 and a green, it can get +4/+4 until end of turn.
This is your classic limited late game bear upside card, and they routinely don't see any play outside of that environment.
It's a lot of investment. Monstrous would have been better, but it's not.
Delirium maybe would have been better on this.
Oh, I see. Oh, if it was Delirium, no, that would have made it an amazing card.
Yeah.
People would replace Tarmogoyf with this. All right. Let's check out this one. I like this. Rabid Bite. 1 and a green. Sorcery. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. It's Follow the Hammer.
Wow.
For green.
Yeah. It's the premier green removal, maybe the premier removal in the right deck for the set. It's great.
Yeah, this is amazing. And it has a dude biting a werewolf.
It has to be a vampire, right?
Nope, he just looks like a mad dude.
That's one of the Thrabins. You can tell from the hat.
Oh, that's right. The tricorn.
This looks extremely strong.
Yeah, this is very, very good.
Was Follow the Hammer an instant?
I don't remember.
I'll look it up.
Maybe. Possibly.
Yeah, it was an instant. But I mean, it's the
that's
exact
very
same.
red.
Yeah, it's incredibly red to be an instant.
So yeah, it's still really good.
Super good.
So
yeah, I'm impressed.
Yeah, me too. That'll see play. All right, Root Out. 2 and a green. Sorcery. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Investigate. There's more investigates for your natural life.
Might the clues.
Yep. Dim clues, y'all.
Utility sideboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. Let's look at Solitary Hunter. 3 and a green. Human Warrior Werewolf. It's a 3/4. At the beginning of each upkeep, if no spells are cast, transform to one of the pack. Creature Werewolf 5/6. So, for 4 mana, you get a 3/4 that can turn into a 5/6. I would rather have this that could possibly transform into a 5/6 than that 6/6 we saw earlier.
Oh, yes.
It's less mana.
Yeah.
Yep.
No trample, though.
No trample. That's true. True. We'll have to find a way to remedy that. Maybe there's a 4
This plays nicer with the L-Curd.
Ah, yeah. Because you get to 8 if with this and the elk out.
Yep.
Very cool. Alright, another creature. Stoic Builder. 2 and a green. Human. For a 2/3. That's kind of dirtly. When Stoic Builder enters the battlefield, you may... Oh, here you go, Sam. You may return target land from your graveyard to your hand. So, you set yourself up with that card where you're throwing them into the graveyard. And you cast this, a dirtily 2/3. Then you get your land back.
It's like the IKEA Borderland Ranger.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Not only that, but like you still have like Pulse of Marasma in the format and such. So, I could see something grindy, midi, rangey, using these cards coming out. I mean, the fact that when you look at the top 2 decks on Sunday were very much grindy mid-range decks between Dr. Chris and Roberto. Go figure. Those guys played grindy mid-range decks. I like it. I mean, it's the little tree folk with the bigger body, so...
I gotcha. Alright. Well, let's look at the next one. Excuse me. Thornhide Wolves. 4 and a green for a 4/5.
No reach, no monstrous. No, thank you.
4 and a green. Yeah, let's move on.
Yes.
Vessel of Nascency. It's 1 green for an enchantment. This has rumblings of seeing a whole lot of play in other places. It's an enchantment. 1 and a green. Sacrifice Vessel. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker from among them into your hand, the rest into your graveyard. That's a lot of things you can look through.
That's better than any of the... As far as what you can get, it's better than any of the self-mill search cards.
Yeah, except for the 3 mana thing.
Yeah, that's the problem.
You do get to pay it in installments, though.
Yeah.
And get a bigger selection. At 3 mana, you get an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker. And I mean, you're always going to pick out a planeswalker and Pauper, right?
Right.
But when you look at it, I mean, it does have the biggest flexibility of any of them. It's like it's mulch plus commune with the gods plus the other one that escapes me, all crammed together on 1 card.
Oh, yeah.
Also, there is a slight advantage of being an enchantment. Some of those decks have been running Auramancers.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, with Auramancer, it gets kind of crazy.
That does get pretty good.
Absent.
It's slow.
It is slow, but you get a lot for your... You can potentially get a whole lot.
Imagine you're playing Delver and you go 1/1 into Ninja of the Deep Hours and your opponent is doing this for the first 2 turns.
Well, okay.
And you're like, I won this game.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it is possible to have much better turns, but if you're setting yourself up as it is, I don't know. I think the flexibility is going to make it see play.
The other enchantment synergies, of course, in Hexproof in Classic Pauper.
Well, that's true.
It adds to the enchantment count.
Yeah, you're going to fuel both the... what's the thing called? Ancestral Mask and the 1 white enchantment.
Yeah, there it competes with Crufix's Insight.
Ah, there you go.
And it compares pretty favorable to that, except that Hexproof doesn't want anything in its... It doesn't care about the graveyard.
It's true.
But this has potential, definitely.
Yeah. There's things it can do. And I think it will see play in Standard Pauper. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, seems likely.
Alright, let's look at the next one. Watcher in the Web. Oops. It's not coming up. Trying to get this thing.
Watcher in the Web.
Yeah. Here we go. My Watcher in the Web is not there. It is. Come on, get on screen. There you go. There it is. Alright. It's 4 and a green spider reach. It's a 2/5, but it can also block an additional 7 creatures each combat.
Did people ever play Giant Spider in Standard Pauper?
I don't know, but Giant Spider couldn't block 8 creatures.
I feel like if Penumbra Spider had been around when Standard Pauper was around, that would have saw play.
Penumbra?
Yeah, when it dies.
Of course. Penumbra
Black.
Spider still sees play in Classic Pauper.
Yeah, I mean, it's
yeah.
a card.
And Penumbra Spider is a lot better than this card.
It doesn't kill anything. Out of the 8 creatures it blocks, it's not going to kill anything, and it's going to die. It's a 5 casting cost fog, maybe?
I think it's an improvement on Giant Spider, but still sideboard.
Yeah, if there's a token swarm deck, I think this will help you out there.
So we have 2 very defensive cards in green. The 04 as well.
Yep, that's true.
So maybe there's something there.
Quite possibly.
All we need is a gatekeeper.
Yeah, I know. It makes you long for the days, right?
Yeah.
Alright, here, let me pull up Ye Old Colorless.
If you just started playing Standard Pauper, search our YouTube channel for Flickergate to see what real Standard Pauper deck should look like.
Oh, Flickergate was awesome.
And then look up the Merry Mill deck.
Don't look up that. That's just sad.
That was amazing. That was... Oh, well, we know Wizards doesn't play Standard Pauper because that deck was a cancer.
It was so bad. Alright, well, let's start off with a card. Okay, Explosive Apparatus. It's a single mana artifact. For 3 and tap, sacrifice it. Explosive Apparatus deals 2 damage to target creature or player. Okay, folks, we'll do a little bit of history. Long, long ago in the far, far away times, they had a card called Aliopile. Aliopile was very similar to this. I believe it was 1 in sacrifice, or it cost 1. Let me pull it up. And
Very similar.
Aliopile.
2 to cast, 1 to sacrifice.
There it is. 2 to cast, 1 to sacrifice. And it dealt 2 damage. But that is restricted. Or they're not gonna... What did they say about it? I forget. They're not going to print this anymore for some reason. But what they did print was another one. It was a red artifact. That you cast it, and for a single red mana, it did the same thing.
Pyrite Spellbomb.
Pyrite Spellbomb, which is beautiful.
And a lot better than this card.
Yep. Pyrite Spellbomb, look at that. Single mana, a red, and you can also draw a card. It's beautiful. But they don't want to print that anymore. They don't want to print anything anymore. So now we have this. It is a single mana, tutorable with ye old Trinket Mage, but you have to 3 and sacrifice and do 2 damage. I will tell you this, there's no shock right now in the format, so is this what shock looks like now?
You need some. You need artifacts for this to be any playable, and yeah, so I don't think this is anything.
Yeah, man, I wish it was. I wish it was basically Aeliopile again, but
Aeliopile had a use in green decks and stuff, but now green has fights, so
right.
You don't need stuff like this anymore. So I think this is just useless.
It does give direct damage, quote unquote, to any of the colors. I didn't really. I listened to the podcast last week. Does black and red have access to good removal, or was it all kind of mediocre like it has been?
It was black
was
was
okay.
pretty good, red was that good, but it still was there.
Yeah, there was some.
I mean, maybe this might see play in white or blue decks.
I think this will see play in Delirium decks.
Yeah, to get an artifact in there.
Yes.
Because clues are not going to stay in your graveyard, unfortunately.
Exactly, so that is some marginal effect and Delirium, that's what you get out of this.
Alright. Well, let's look at the next 1-drop artifact.
There is more?
Yeah, Shard of Broken Glass, 1-drop. Equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+0. Whenever equipped creature dies, you may put the 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Equip cost is 1. I would rather have Silverblack Lifestaff.
Imagine when the army marches out, you sort of get your equipment and soldier, you're going to fight with a shard of broken glass, because that's all our budget can afford.
Right. Oh, somebody pointed out on quite a few of these cards where people are bleeding or something is dripping out of them, it looks just like Phyrexian oil.
It does. The shard of broken glass is from the stained glass window that Evanson is on.
Yep.
So that's her face upside down. I mean, it's a flavorful card. Is it a good card?
No.
No.
Yeah, just go with Strider Harness.
I mean, I guess
The face doesn't look like Avacyn at all.
it's one of the 3 of them. I can't remember which one, because the 3 of them became Avacyn or something like that. I'm not really into Porthos thing. I mean,
I don't know who's on this.
yeah.
Someone please explain it to us.
If you really want to get there with the sub theme on the white cards of equipment, you probably end up playing this, I guess.
Well, if you need a graveyard effect, this is borderline playable.
Oh, yeah, because you can put the top 2. Maybe. If it's that, if it comes to that, it seems like a sad, sad day.
Yes.
Alright, let's look at another equipment. 2 mana, True Faith Censor. Equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has Vigilance. If it's a human, it gets an additional +1/+0. Equip 2. So for 2, equip 2, you have a potential of getting +2/+1. Yikes.
Wow, makes Woolshock Morningstar look like gold.
Yeah, I know, right? Ugh.
Yeah, I don't think this is enough of payoff to care about humans.
No. You're going to have to force it hardcore. Alright, let's look at this next one. Kind of creepy. It is a...
Wait a minute, sorry. Thinking about it again, you get Vigilance as well.
Yeah, you do get Vigilance.
So maybe it is strong enough for standard Pauper play in a human's deck. Because Woolshock Morningstar would be a very good card in standard Pauper.
Yeah.
And this is fairly close with Vigilance as well. You get as much power, 1 less toughness, and Vigilance. So,
And strictly in the white-green human deck, it's probably a playable.
if there is such a thing as a white-green human deck
Yeah.
in standard Pauper. But it's the deck that is tearing up standard right now, as far as I understand.
Yeah, standard is very white. White splash after the first weekend of play. It's kind of crazy. I think it's the displacer. It's super powerful.
All right. Okay, next equipment.
It's not equipment.
Oh.
It is the Wicker Witch for 3. It's a 3/1. Yay.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
This is also a delirium enabler. If you rather have a 3/1 creature than a bad equipment.
Right, just run this thing into the...
And it will from anything.
Right, it's creepy. I like that. When there were no more crows to scare, it focused its efforts elsewhere. That's pretty cool.
That is great.
All right. Well, yeah, it's one way of getting artifacts into the graveyard. Let's look at the last thing. I should have clicked land. But what the heck? Oh, it's giving me the colors. Why is it doing this?
Yeah, it gives you, when you add colorless, it might give you the flip side of the werewolves.
But actually,
it's really annoying.
I did land.
What's the name of the card?
Warped Landscape.
Yeah.
It's our last card.
Warped Landscape. All right, it's a land. It taps for glass mana, but 2 tap and sacrifice it. Search your library for a basic land card and put it into the battlefield tapped.
It's a reprint, right? It's not a reprint, but it's a functional reprint.
Oh, really? What was the reprint?
Yeah, this card used to be around. This card is in Classic Pauper, but of course never sees play because of Evolving Wilds.
Oh, yeah, Terramorphic.
So I can't remember the name of the card, but it's Odyssey, I think.
Okay.
So this thing has existed, and it was quite nice before Evolving Wilds showed up.
Oh, okay. Well, that's it. We are done.
So I think this could actually be a thing, especially if you want to have lands in your graveyard.
Oh, yeah.
This is worse than Evolving Wilds, but it's not that much worse.
Right, and remember, there are still Eldrazi's that care about colorless mana.
Yeah, it does facilitate those a little bit more. I don't know how many we get at common, but
True.
It's got the cryptoliths on it.
I can't remember an Eldrazi at common that cares. That has seen play.
Well, yeah, but after rotation, everything's going to be a little different.
Yes.
Well, we'll find out. All right. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed that preview. So let's talk about some things real quick. Modern Pauper League just started. Bob was putting that on. I played my match this evening, and I won 2-1.
What did you play?
I played. I got Mr. JPH Snake himself to help me and put together a mono red heroic modern deck.
Sweet.
And it won against Is It Blitz? Not Is It? Yeah, Is It Blitz? That's right, with the Kiln Fiend and Cyclops.
Yeah.
Yeah. I beat him. But
Very nice.
yeah, it was basically a race. I won the first one. He won the second one. I won the third one. I mean, I think it took 11 minutes total.
I guess Soul Eaters were involved.
Mm-hmm. Soul Leaders were involved. It's pretty awesome. All right. And I believe you wanted to talk about some things, Sam?
Yeah. First off, Wednesday nights through Gathering Eddy or Shifting Shadows has started. Last week was the initial one, running standard Silverblack as a pre.
That's very cool.
That's very cool. It's of course free to enter. I think he's got price support because I think to be on Gathering you have to have it.
Okay.
And last week, like 12 people showed up. Roberto told me it was a really good time. My computer was dead, so I missed it. I hope to get in. Maybe not this week. Maybe next week. We'll have to see. And what else is going
Is it
on?
standard Silverblack?
Yeah,
standard Silverblack.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then Gwynedd was talking or thinking about maybe making Monday Pauper into a league instead of having it as a pre. He was asking for feedback about that. I think it's a good idea simply because I can't play Monday. It's just impossible for me to be able to make it in. Give him feedback either way. He notices that attendance has dropped quite a bit in comparison to what it used to be. So
It's true, and Wizards did us no favors by changing up filters and whatnot.
not a one.
Yeah. All right. Oh, don't forget Redbubble. I own 2 of the t-shirts. I love them. I was wearing it on Saturday, and 3 random people asked me, "Oh, do you play Magic?" I'm like, "No, what's that?" It's like, of course I do. I have a damn Magic the Gathering shirt on. You know, I explained about our YouTube and all that good stuff, and it's pretty cool. People like them, and they're nice shirts. You get hoodies. Dan modeled us a hoodie on our channel. You can go look at that. So, that's the latest goings-ons. But I know Dan has something to talk about.
I do.
And he wants to talk about it real good with us.
Yes.
So,
round 8.
Oh,
round 8.
Gauntlet. 9 decks entered.
Dun, dun, dun.
You have prepared slides here, right?
I do. First one up is Aristocrats.
Oh, yeah.
Aristocrats.
So anybody watch this?
Oh, I watched it. I watched it real good. And and then this is the one, the guy quit, right?
God, I can't remember.
I think the guy quit. And you're like, why? He wasn't, there was no different, like his board position was fine.
Yeah, it was the Kodotha Rakdos deck.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, and I remember, I watched that last week, I think. I remember loving the deck, and then he just scooped.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
There was a lot of people commenting that they were interested in that build. So if anybody knows the player, please ask him for the deck list.
Yeah, that'd be cool. All right. Well, let's move on to the next one. Bant, Sword and Shield.
Yeah, when I started playing this deck, I felt like, okay, this deck will dawdle around and be killed by something with better card advantage because it isn't very fast. And then I won 6 straight rounds and skipped round 2 then because I won round 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then it finally happened. I went up against a pretty regular Jun build, and he was blightening me and doing the Jun thing like people want to do in Pauper that never works, but it worked this time.
It sure did.
He just crushed me so bad.
Yeah.
Blastoderms, no less.
I was like, you can't do that. That's my Blastoderm. That was
My
funny.
song.
I made the song for him.
I can't target him with my removal. What the hell?
So unfortunate.
But this was a very roguish deck build, I felt. It was in the Pauper Brewers Cup. Very nice build, very nice deck. Paul Jones, thank you for this deck.
Yeah, it did exceptionally well.
And we'll see it again next year because it's a top 10 deck.
Top 10, yes, sir. All right. And for round 8, Soul Sisters.
Yeah, they ran into Quitter.
Yep. So they won this time.
Yes.
Bomb, bomb. Oh well. Happens. Moving on to round 9. All right. Here it is, Dan. Pig Trinket.
Yeah. Pig Trinket and Trinket Control traditionally had very good mono black control matchups, and then Grey Merchant showed up, but Power T still claims 73% wins over mono black control. And his comment after seeing this match was that now you know why you lose 27% of the time.
Yep.
So this was a horrible experience. So Mono Black Control did the Mono Black Control thing and shamed the Grey Merchant, and it was over.
Yeah, I felt bad for you, man. It was a beating.
Yes, so Pig Trinket, thank you Power T for Pig Trinket. And it's a top 10 deck, it was voted back.
And it will be back next year.
Yes.
And then we have Spiteful Leeches.
Yeah, well, how is this deck still here?
I don't know what to tell you, Dan. No matter what you do, this deck is determined to win.
It just catches people off guard. And
Yes.
going
It
into
catches
game
me off
2,
guard.
Yeah.
going into game 2, they're so shocked that they lost to it in game 1 that they don't know how to react. I guess.
Yeah.
Or they're so tilted that they just give up life. So
Yeah, I keep winning. Bava wants to cry when he sees me playing it. And I want to cry when I play it because I'm so confused.
Yeah.
And still it's in the Pauper Gauntlet.
Still going. It has moved to round 9.
Which is amazing. This is definitely the most roguish deck in round 9.
It truly is.
Imagine if Spiteful Leeches won the Pauper
Oh
Gauntlet.
my god. It would be shocking.
Yes, and I have to say it, some days I'll say it here, nobody has picked this deck.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, nobody has picked this deck. So if you're listening to the Twitch stream now and you haven't picked the deck, go pick the deck.
Right, there's only... How many after round 8 made it? 5?
5.
There's only
5
5 left. You have a 1 in 5 chance of winning 100 tickets.
Yes. 100 bot credits
100
even.
bot credits,
Better than
yes.
tickets.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
But I can't see myself winning the Pauper Gauntlet with this deck. It still seems impossible.
Oh, it's crazy, man.
But I thought it was impossible to win a single match with it, and now
You did.
I lost. You voted it back.
Yeah.
I lost in round 3. So there are 5 wins then. No, 6 wins. No, 5 wins.
All right, and also here it is, the other piggy deck, Bugs and Pigs.
A dark day for Brindlebore.
The Brindlebore
Dark
did not help you.
And here I run into Golgari control deck. Very
Yeah.
similar to Bugs and Pigs.
It was. I remember at first you're like, oh wait, is this the mirror? Oh no, not the mirror.
And yeah, it was 2-1 to him, so I had some chance, but in the end I lost.
Bye-bye, Bugs and Pigs. You did really well.
So Spiteful Leeches is now the only vote back deck that is still alive. And no vote back deck has ever made it this far.
It's amazing.
And Bugs and Pigs managed to get the top 10 2 years in a row. So shout out to Galactic President for making a fantastic deck.
Yeah. Getting a top 10 is great. And getting this far in, wow. congratulations to everyone involved, because this has been a hell of a year.
But there is still another top 10 deck from last year still alive and in round 9.
Oh yeah, which one was that?
Green one.
Green one. Oh, that's right. We talked about it last week.
Yes.
Yep, that's true. I didn't go into anything for round 9. Did you want to talk about round 9 or?
No, we'll talk about that next week.
We'll talk about it next week. Okay.
So 5 decks are still alive. It's White Weenie, Soul Tokens, and Cyborg. So 2 White Weenie decks in the top 5.
That's crazy.
I would never have guessed that. Spiteful Leeches, Green one, and Aristocrats. And Aristocrats is a very roguish deck as well. So Spiteful Leeches and Aristocrats, super rogue. And White Metalcraft, like in Cyborgs, has been around for a while, but it was never a mainstream deck. So very interesting mix. I would have been impossible to guess that these 5 decks would be left.
Right? How funny.
So round 12 is the first 2-man round, so I hope to make it there. And if I make it all the way to round 15 or 16, I think, it's the league round.
Oh, what are you going to do if you have to take Spiteful into a league?
Oh my god. Yeah, that is impossible. But a lot of things are impossible with that deck, and they still happen.
They still somehow work out. I don't get it. But you've been doing it.
Yeah, somehow.
You have the experience to fumble through like a true champion.
Some champions then, fighting for the 100 bot credits. Markovian has green one.
Oh yeah? Okay.
The Black Gauntlet has cyborgs.
Okay.
Taser the Dog has White Weenie Soul Tokens.
Taser the Dog? Alright.
Yeah. And Paul Jones, the Brewer, has Aristocrats.
Very nice. Like I said, I believe I said last week or maybe the week before, I bought Aristocrats in paper because it's so awesome.
Yeah. I want to pre-apologize to Paul Jones for next round because I got really confused by his other name. It's confusing because people have one name on Google, one name on YouTube, one name on Tapped Out. So I somehow made Paul Jones into 2 people when I talked about the deck.
Oh no.
So sorry, Paul. So now time for round 9.
Round 9, yep. You can go out there and start watching round 9 immediately, folks.
Yeah, it started today.
Dun, 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 dun. But we are going to talk about it next week because we want to keep all this stuff kind of separated out.
Yes, and it might seem that the Gauntlet is over tomorrow, but in the later rounds, the win percentage is usually a lot higher. Because now we have only the good decks left. I have become a little better in playing them, except for Spiteful Leeches. And so this can go on for quite some time, but it will be 1 round per week. And last year we had 2 decks for a long time.
Oh, that's right. It went back and forth, back and forth.
Burn and Stompy, but they're both dead in this season.
Poor Burn and Stompy.
So there will be a new champion of the Pauper Gauntlet.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. Well, with all that Pauper Gauntlet talk, that brings us to the end. Can you believe it?
No, not the end.
The end. We went through Green and Colorless. We talked about Worlds. We talked about the Gauntlet. My goodness, this show was just jam-packed full of information.
Yes, vital information.
You cannot survive in this cold, heartless world without the information we provide you folks. You get it right here. Magicgatheringstrat.com, YouTube/Magicgatheringstrat for all your video enjoyment. If you do enjoy our videos and our podcasts, Patreon.com/Magicgatheringstrat. You can help us out.
Yes, if you become a patron.
Yes.
At $2 or more a month, you join the exclusive crowd that can force me to play Pauper decks. So, and all you patrons out there, please make your patron deck requests in the Jace Beleriand forums. So I will now have an abstinence for playing Pauper, so I need to know what to play. Tell me what to play.
Tell him. You can command him. He's your monkey.
Yes.
You can make him. You can crank that box, and he will dance for you. Yes,
and reluctantly, if you say One Land Spy or Spiteful Leeches, but, I will do it.
You know what would be good for the patrons is if when a deck goes out, especially later on, have like a final hurrah, and make him, play it one last time, say goodbye to your favorite deck in the Gauntlet.
That's a good idea.
I think so. All right. Also, if you want to know when all these videos come out, at Magicgatheringstrat on Twitter. We put everything there, even on our auxiliary channels. It all goes through that Twitter. If you want to follow me, I say crazy things on the Twitter. At Cerulean Says Hi. If you want to follow Sam, he's much more reserved and doesn't talk about politics.
If you follow me, I'm pretty vocal about
He's vocal, y'all.
I have for certain things that go on in my particular state. So
hey, act locally, think globally.
Exactly.
That's at SPO7677. If you want to follow Dan, the man from Sweden, it's at Dan Horning.
Yeah, I'm more active than ever on Twitter. It's a healthy mix of magic and Swedish murders.
Swedish murders. Ah.
Yes, lots of English stuff and then a lot of Swedish.
Yes. Apparently, people interested in that murder want to use Twitter to talk about it. And it's really hard to explain the complicated investigation process in 140 characters.
Oh my god, I can only imagine. Also, did you guys know that Snapchat is becoming one of the top ways to chat? I saw Travis Wu did a video and he goes, "You need to follow me on Snapchat." He goes, "It's the next wave of social media like Facebook and Twitter." He said Twitter's on the decline, and he goes, "I know what you're thinking, but it's not just for teenagers sexting anymore. It's an actual legitimate social media outlet." I thought that was funny.
Somebody else put up their code recently, and I was like, "Well, that's kind of shocking."
Right. Oh, Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, I think he was one of the ones. I mean, I'm just afraid that they're going to send me junk pictures, and I really don't want that.
Junk pictures, yeah, so I follow you on Snapchat. I assume, odds are, I'm going to see your junk, but...
I mean, because it is Snapchat.
Right.
I remember when social media was stones with runes on them.
Was what?
Giant boulders, and you carved runes into them.
Yes, you just carved runes.
And it was all sexting.
That's the most tedious of all. You were committed.
Look at my junk. You carved in a picture of it.
Carved a picture, yes. It says Dan was here. Wah, wah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Speaking of, Facebook.com/Magicgatheringstrat. There's another place where we put stuff. Please subscribe to our channels and like them and share them with your friends. Guarantee it's 100% junk free. We're also on iTunes. If you want to listen to this podcast later through your car stereo speaker holes.
Or you're putting it up on time on iTunes.
I guess.
Good.
Sometimes I get in a frenzy and I will put a few up at once and be like, oh crap, I meant to schedule those out. Oops. I try to get them up there.
iTunes reviews as well.
Yeah. There's still like only Avery's.
Give us reviews on iTunes. Tell us what you think. Be honest.
Yeah.
But nice.
Well, you can be mean if you want.
Just as long as you review us.
Right. I mean, if you want to be mean, I don't know why you would actually take the time out of your day.
Us on iTunes.
Yes.
Everybody, it's Brendan's first day on the internet. Be nice to him.
Yeah. Sure. I'm just saying, in the grand scheme of things, taking time to go out, subscribe to a podcast, then intentionally just give it a bad review. Man, that's a lot of effort you just put in. Just throwing that out there. All right. Well, for this week, I am Brennan.
I'm Sam.
And I am a crazy Swedish guy.
He sure is. And this has been the Magicgatheringstrat Show. Do-do-do-do-do.
Pauper Gauntlet.